Is there any way in which Terry Bogard could become a top tier character on Street Fighter 6? A top 5 character on the game? We're gonna be discussing this today. If you enjoy fighting game content, Street Fighter 6, Tekken 8, even Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, and also upcoming games like Fatal Fury City of the Wolves, please like and subscribe, and let's get into it. So the first thing we should be discussing is the current strength of Terry. So I have a tier list right here that I made, nothing too new, to be honest. Some people would say that Terry is a bottom character, like some Japanese players have said that he's awful. I do not agree with this. It depends, of course, on your perspective. If you're a professional player and you're trying to get top 8 at EVO, why are we even discussing this? Just play one of the top 5 characters and do not take, Terry into account. Like, he's not a top tier character, okay? It's pretty obvious. But he's not the worst character in the game. Like, there's no way, especially if you're a normal person and you just want to enjoy the game. Terry is for sure, probably the best mid-tier character in the game. Terry has a lot of strong tools, good neutral skips, good neutral control. You can condition your opponent very strong with the way in which Terry, execute his game plan. He has good corner pressure if you know how to execute it. So you can do a lot to win with Terry, And if you're not playing against Daigo every game on rank, you should not worry about Terry being, the worst character in the game. If you want to win tournaments, just pick a top 5 character. Please stop the discussion, and downplaying Terry because you want to win tournaments and get, a super high position on a big tournament. Just ignore the cast and play Akuma, Ed, Bison, Rashid, or Kami, and do not have a discussion about the strength of the other characters, because if you want to be honest, those are the only ones that you should be worried about. So, is Terry good? I personally believe he is pretty good. But he could be a lot stronger, specifically taking into account that he's a guest character, Usually guest characters on fighting games are busted because they represent a very, important transaction in between big companies. And this, of course, is not something ignorant to this. It's SNK with Capcom, two of the biggest fighting game companies ever. So Terry should be stronger. He should be a top 6, 7 character in the game. So we're going to discuss today how we can make that happen to make Terry shine, and which changes would make him, very, very strong in comparison to the state in which he is right now. So my first bet would be to make Buster Wolf invulnerable to fireballs, okay? This is something that is present on KOF 15, and if you fight Terry on KOF 15, you have to worry about this. People generally put Terry as their last character. They have a lot of meters, so they can Buster Wolf a lot of fireballs. It would be great if this was present on Street Fighter 6 because it would make Terry feel more like a rushdown character instead of a Shoto, so that he has a stronger identity, because right now it kind of feels like he's just a Shoto. And this, of course, would give him tools to win the Fireball War, because now he has light and medium Fireball, which are good, but not as good as Akuma, Ryu, etc. Making Buster Wolf Fireball invulnerable would give him a stronger identity. It would, of course, also kind of give him better pressure, because you can do something like this after you super. So I don't think that this would broke the character, but it would be a nice change, and it would make the character a lot more oppressive when he has meters, so you cannot just zone him out with fireballs and stuff. Now let's get into one of the big problems that the character has, which is all of his heavy buttons, okay? Terry's heavy punches do not feel that strong. They are quite slow. They are very like minus on block. So the first thing to me would be to take his standing HP, this button, and make it either less minus on block, so that you have some advantage when you hit people with this, or make it faster. Right now it comes out at like 9 or 10 frames, if I'm not mistaken. Make it 7. Like, this button is short. It's not big in comparison to the other Shotos. Like, Ryu and Ken have crazy standing HP buttons. The version of standing HP for Terry, it's pretty weak, even if the character moves forward when you do it. So this move needs to be better. It's a key button for any sort of balanced character around like fireballs and having a versatile kit. And at the end of the day, Terry is a Shoto on this game. So he needs to have a better standing HP. Like, it needs to happen. So we either make it better on block, or we make it faster, so that people, have to respect it even more, since it's not that long of a button. This, of course, would make Terry's offense better, whiff punishing better, corner pressure better, etc. Now, let's get into the side sway, okay, or like the Fatal Fury, line sway that Terry does, in which he goes back to the screen. So this move, it's basically useless. There is no reason to do it. If you do it, you lose the opportunity to do like a big combo like this or get into a grab situation. You lose the opportunity to also do some sort of target combo to put pressure on your opponent, or do this, you know, and get a big combo. So there is no reason to do this, and this move could be very good. It could be, you know, sort of a mix-up tool for the character to make it more dynamic, but no one uses it because it's awful. It's one of the worst things that the character has, and it's such a key, you know, signature legacy move from Fatal Fury games, so it should be better. So what can we do? Personally, I think that the only way to make this move good is to make it like plus on block. You know, if Terry hits you with the big punch up front, he's plus, it's his turn, and if he tries to cross you up with the kick, it's your turn. So because you had to guess, you know, the cross up or parry. I think that that's the way in which it should work, so that it's a better option when people are blocking too much, so that Terry has, you know, better, at the end of the day, mix-up options to kind of get his offense going. It's the only way in which I can imagine this move to be good. If you don't do this, I don't know when you're going to use it, because you're not going to do combos with this. So that's the only way, to me, in which it could be better. Then we have Terry's fireballs, okay? I think that the fireballs that Terry has are pretty good, but the light version of the fireball for Terry, it's too slow. It needs to be a little faster, okay? Because you can use it as, for example, a pressure option, so you drive rush after the fireball, but you can't really win a fireball war with this because it's too slow. It needs to be a little faster so that it has, you know, more synergy with the medium version, since it's shorter but faster and bigger. And in this way, Terry would have more tools to win a fireball war against characters like Akuma, you know, like Ryu, etc. So I think that his light fireball can be a lot better, but it could also make him a little broken, to be honest. You know, if you mix, for example, this with the Buster Wolf change, like, you cannot throw fireballs against Terry. So you cannot have to choose in between the two. But I think that this could be a good change, you know, if you know how to balance it well. Another thing you could do is make his standing medium kick special cancelable. I don't think that this would make the character broken or anything, but it could be a good change, since you could do fireballs after, or you could do a version of tackle if you wanna, you know, cut people out, or born knuckle. So, you know, this could be good. It wouldn't broke the character or anything, but it would simply give him more options to go, you know, through the other guy and basically put the offense going and make the other people guess. I think that's the only reason why you should do this change, and it could be pretty decent. After that, we have this, which I think it's key, which is the light version of Born Knuckle. This move is awful, okay? There's no reason to do it. If people guess the overhead, you're a minus and they can punish you. You're like, that should not happen. You know, this is one of the only overhead mix-ups that Terry has. And at the end of the day, you know, even if this hits you, it's not going to do a lot of damage. So it shouldn't be that minus on block. You know, it should be just something neutral, that it's the other guy's turn, but he cannot just go ahead and punish you, you know, with some jabs and a DP. So this could be a good change, and it would make the character stronger because you would have to guess a little more in between, you know, close-up interactions. But again, it would not make the character broken, just a little stronger. And another thing that you could do to make him stronger, it's making his drive rush better. As I said before, in a lot of games, Terry feels more like a rushdown character than a Shoto, even though he has a fireball and stuff. But in Street Fighter 6, he does not feel like a rushdown that much. And to me, one of the main reasons for that is that his drive rush is not as fast as some of the very, you know, fast drive rush in the game, like Yuri, for example. So I personally believe that Terry should have a very fast drive rush to kind of, you know, sort of put his identity as a rushdown character on a stronger position. This would, of course, make him better because it would be harder to react, you know, he would have better offense. He could play the neutral game on a more aggressive way instead of just throwing fireballs at barnacles. A lot of the times with this character you want to be offensive, but you cannot because you don't have the tools to do it. And you actually have to play a very slow neutral game before you neutral skip or you get into your opponent. So making his drive rush better would be, I think, a very good change, and probably a very healthy one, because it doesn't really change, you know, properties of the character that get into you when he's already hitting you. You know, it's a change that it kind of transforms the neutral game, which is kind of like one of the key points, you know, on any Street Fighter game. Those were some of my buffs for Terry. You should, of course, have to like kind of choose in between some of them so the character is not super broken. But I do feel like Terry should be stronger, especially taking into consideration that he's a guest character, and guest characters tend to be busted because, as I said, they kind of have an economical or financial reason to be, because they are, you know, this big relationship in terms of corporations with SNK and Capcom. So I feel like he should be a little stronger. So let me know in the comments what you think. I hope that you enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe, and see you on the next one.